So dear students, today we move on to the second module in the subject Environmental Engineering 1. So in this module, these are the topics that will be discussed: types of intakes, conveyors, pumps and location of pumping station, quality of water, drinking water standards, physical, chemical and biological analysis. So what are intake structures, or what are intakes? So we know that fundamentally a water supply system comprises of three basic units. I had already told you this. Any water supply system has three basic components or three basic units. They are the source of supply, the processing or treatment of the water, and then we have the distribution of the water to the users. So the water will be taken from the source and then it will be treated, and after treatment it will be distributed to the community or to the users. So what are intake structures? So the intakes or intake work or intake structure, it comprises of a structure that is placed in a surface water source in order to permit the withdrawal of water from the source and then discharge it into an intake conduit through which it will flow into the treatment unit for further processing. Or we can say that in any water supply project, the first step is to select the source of water from which the water is drawn. So any device that is installed or which is constructed for the purpose of drawing water from the source of water, we call it as an intake. So intakes are generally made up of, it can be made of or constructed using masonry, or it may be a concrete structure also. And the main aim is to provide relatively clean water into the treatment plant. So whenever water is collected from the source and taken to the treatment plant, we have to provide comparatively clean water so that the load on the treatment plant will be lesser. So we'll see what are the factors that has to be considered when you select a location for an intake structure. So whenever we plan a water supply scheme, after identifying the source, the next step is to construct the intake structure. So whenever we select an intake structure, we have to consider various factors. So they are listed here. First of all, the site should be very near the treatment plant to reduce the conveyance cost. So what does it mean? So we know that after the water is being collected from the source, it is transported to the treatment unit. So suppose a treatment unit is somewhere far away, what happens? We will have to have various other processes like providing conduits or pipelines in order to transfer water from the source to the treatment plant. So this will be very costly and it will not be economical. So in order to make it more economical or to reduce the cost of conveyance, it is always preferred that the treatment plant should be very close to the site of the intake. So that is one important point. And also we know that in the source of water, suppose you are considering a river as a source of water, at all places or at all locations in the river, the water will not be pure. So there may be zones which have more pure water compared to other zones where it might be polluted. So an intake should be the site of the intake in a river or any source for that matter should be located in such a way that it is located in the purer zone of the source, so that we get best quality water. So best quality water can be drawn from the source, and thus what happens is when the water quality is pure at the source itself, what happens? The load that comes on the treatment plant will be comparatively lesser. If it is impure water, then the load will be more, so the treatment process also will vary. And also one more point is that the intake must never be located near the vicinity of the wastewater disposal point. So we all know that one of the most common method of disposal of waste, for example industrial waste and other waste, is to dispose the waste into water bodies. So whenever we consider a source for a water supply scheme, we know that the water source may be polluted due to disposal of waste into the water. So when we select the location for an intake, we should see to it that the intake is not located anywhere near the vicinity of the wastewater disposal point in the source. And next thing is intakes must never be located near the navigation channels. So what happens when you locate an intake very close to the navigation channel, or suppose the intake interferes with the river traffic? So we know that in the channel, that is in the navigation channel, there may be chances of pollution because there may be discharges from the ships. So in order to avoid that, we should see that the intakes are not located near the navigation channel, or it should not interfere with the river traffic. Another point to be considered is that it should be located at a place from where it can draw water even during the driest period of the year. That is, this site should be so selected that it may admit water even under the worst conditions of flow in the river, or under lowest possible water level in a lake or a reservoir. So as far as possible, the intake should be located sufficiently inside the shoreline. Now, the intake site should remain accessible during floods and should not get flooded. This is again another important point to be considered. And also, in meandering rivers, the intake should not be located on the curves. If not on the curves, at least it should not be located on the sharp curves. So these are the various points that should be considered while we select the location for a intake structure. So next we'll see what are the different types of intakes. So intakes may be classified under three heads as it is given under. Firstly, based upon the type of source. So from which source the water is being collected. Based on that, we can classify intakes into river intakes, canal intakes, reservoir intakes, etc. And then based on the position of the intake, so where the intake is located. So based on the position, it is or how it is located. So it may be submerged intake or exposed intake. Again, it can be classified based on the presence of water in the tower. So the intake tower may be wet intake or dry intake based on presence of water inside the intake tower. So these are the three classifications or the three heads under which we classify the intakes. One is based on the source, secondly based on the position of the intake, and third based on the presence of water in the tower. So now we'll see what are the different types of intakes in detail. Firstly, according to the type of source. So like I told you, according to the type of source, the intakes may be classified as river intake, canal intake, reservoir intake, and lake intake. So we'll see each of this. Firstly, according to the type, the first type, that is a river intake. So what are river intakes? So a river intake is actually an intake that is located on the upstream side of the city, so that pollution is minimized, and they are either located sufficiently inside the river so that the demand of water are met with in all the seasons of the year. So we know that based on the season, the quantity of water available may be high or less, or it may be lower. So the intakes, in the case of a river intake, it is located in such a way that it is sufficiently inside the river so that during all seasons the requirement of water will be met. And also it is the intake tower in the river intake, it permits the entry of water through several points, like I show you in the figure here. Before that, there are two types of river intakes. So a typical river intake may be classified into two types. Firstly, the twin well type of intake structure, and then we have the single well type of intake structure. So what is a twin well type intake structure? So like you see in the figure, so a twin well type, they are actually constructed on almost all types of rivers where the river water usually hugs the river bank. So this consists mainly of three components, like you see here. It has an inlet well, and then you have an inlet pipe. So inlet well or intake well, it is also called as an intake chamber. Then you have a conduit, that is called as an inlet pipe, and third part we have a sump well or a jack well. So here this is the twin well type of river intake. So here the inlet well is usually circular in cross section, and it may be made up of masonry or concrete, and the inlet pipe will connect the inlet well with the jack well. As you see here, there is a horizontal pipe which connects the inlet well with the jack well, and this has a minimum diameter of 45 centimeters, and usually it is not, it's laid at a slope of 1 in 200, and the flow velocity through this this pipe or the inlet pipe is less than 1.2 meters per second. And then the water entering the jack well will be lifted by pumps, by using pumps. Once the water is collected in the jack well, it will be lifted with the help of pumps, and it will be fed to the rising main. And the jack well should be founded, usually it is located on a hard strata. So this is a typical twin well type intake. So this is a type of, as I said, it is a type of river intake. Coming to the second type of intake, we call it as a single well type intake. So what is a single well type intake? So here the figure shows a single well type intake. So in this case, no inlet well and inlet pipe is there. We don't have an inlet well or an inlet pipe, and opening or ports are fitted with bars or screens, and that is provided in the jack well itself. So there is no separate inlet well or an inlet pipe, and the sediment that is entering will be usually less because clearer water will enter the channel, and the silt entering the jack well will partly settle down in the bottom. And we also can see that the jack well can be in this case the jack well can be periodically cleaned manually by stopping the entry of water into the jack or into the well. So this is a single well type intake because there are no, it is called so because there is no inlet well or inlet pipe, and there is only the jack well in this type of intake. So this is another figure which shows a single well type intake. Now coming to the second type, that is the canal intake. This is again based on the source. Like I told you, it can be classified into various types like the river, canal, reservoir and lake. So we'll see what is a canal intake. So sometimes what happens is the source of water supply for a small town can be from an irrigation canal that passes near the town. So the canal intake is as shown here. This is a typical canal intake. So it consists of concrete or masonry intake chamber which may be rectangular shape, and it admits water through a coarse screen. So the intake well is generally located on the banks of the canal, and since water level is more or less constant, there is no need of providing inlets at different depths, and it essentially consists of concrete or masonry like I told you earlier. The next type is the reservoir intake. Again, this is based on the source of which source we are taking the water. So based on the source, the next type is the reservoir intake. So whenever the flow in the river is not guaranteed throughout the year, what happens is we will have to store water. So we can't always guarantee that there will be water throughout the year. So in that case, what happens is during the rains and when there is water available in plenty, it will be stored, and by constructing a dam or so. And then this type of a intake, we call it as a reservoir intake. So a reservoir intake essentially consists of an intake tower. It consists of an intake tower which is constructed on the slope of the dam at a place where the intake can draw water in sufficient quantity even in the driest period. So when it comes to a reservoir, water is available throughout the year. Even in the driest period, water can be drawn from the reservoir. So the intake pipes are fixed at different levels so as to draw water near the surface in all variations of the water level. So this is a reservoir intake. So this is a figure which shows a reservoir intake. So this reservoir intake is actually, practically it is same as that of a river intake, except that these are located near the upstream face of the dam and where the maximum depth of water is available. So this is a reservoir intake. Now coming to the lake intake. This is again another type of intake based upon the source. So here the source will be the lakes. So lake intakes are similar to again the reservoir intakes if the depth of the water near the bank is reasonable. So suppose the depth of the water near the bank is shallow and greater depth is available only at the center, then we go for a submerged intake. So like I told you, the lakes intakes may also be classified as submerged and exposed. So a lake intake, whenever there is a depth of water which is not, if the depth of the water near the bank is shallow, what happens is, and only greater depth is available at the center, then we provide a submerged intake. So we'll see what is a submerged intake. So based on the position of the intake, intakes may be classified as submerged intakes and exposed intakes. So what is a submerged intake? A submerged intake structure, they are those which are constructed entirely underwater, like I told you just in the case of a lake intake. So they are less expensive to construct but are difficult to maintain, and such intakes are commonly used to obtain water from lakes. So that is a submerged intake. So here you can see in the figure, this represents a, this shows a submerged intake. Next is exposed intake. So what is exposed intake? So the exposed intakes, they are in the form of well or tower that is constructed near the bank of a river, or even in some cases away from the bank of a river, and they are more common to and easy to operate and also to maintain. So we call it as a exposed intake. So unlike submerged intake, exposed intakes are more common. That is because it is easy to operate and also to maintain. So this is an exposed intake. Coming to the last type or classification based on the presence of water in the tower. So based on this, we can classify intakes into wet intakes and also dry intakes. So what is a wet intake tower? This figure represents or it shows a wet intake tower. So a wet intake actually consists of a concrete circular shell that is filled with water up to the reservoir, up to the level of the reservoir, and here openings are made into the outer concrete shell as well as into the inside of the shaft, and here gates are provided. So you can see here gates are provided. They are usually placed, gates are placed on the shaft so as to control the flow of water into the shaft and the withdrawal conduit. So the water coming out of the withdrawal pipe here, the water coming out of the withdrawal conduit, here you can see below there is a withdrawal conduit. The water coming out of the withdrawal pipe may be taken to the pump house where it will be lifted. So if the treatment plant is say at a higher level, we will have to pump water from the intake to the treatment plant. So the water that comes out of the withdrawal pipe will be taken to the pump house for be lifted for further treatment, or it may be directly taken to the treatment plant. Suppose the treatment plant is at a lower level, the water will just flow through gravity. So this type of intake, that is when there is water inside the intake tower, we call it as a wet intake. And the next type is the dry intake tower. So here water is directly drawn into the to the withdrawal conduit through the gated entry ports. So as you see here, directly the water is drawn from the figure. You can just see this is a dry intake. So here water is directly drawn into the withdrawal conduit through the gated entry ports, and it has no water inside the tower like how it is in the case of a wet intake. And when the entry ports are closed, a dry intake tower will be subjected to additional forces. So it must be of heavier construction compared to a wet intake tower. So whenever you construct a dry intake structure, it has to be, the construction should be heavier, and they are useful since water can be withdrawn from any selected level of the reservoir by opening the port at that particular level. So this is a dry intake.